They told you the WNBA would calm down by August. But tonight, the two loudest voices around the league made sure it didn't. Shaquille O'Neal just drew a hard line, publicly stepping in to defend Angel Reese after weeks of online shots and media speculation. But here's the surprise. When fans went looking for a hammer from the NBA's top office, they ran into an older message from Adam Silver that sounds like the opposite energy. He said this is part of basketball, a welcome to the league kind of heat. That contrast is why this story exploded. Two giants, two tones, and one league caught in the middle. We start with the moment the conversation tilted. A July clip where Shaq wasn't subtle. He said enough is enough. He didn't tiptoe around it. He wasn't playing both sides. He said he was Angel Reese's protector. He warned a loud critic to stop dragging her name. That wasn't just comment section smoke. That was a Hall of Famer telling the room there's a line you don't cross. And when legends draw lines, the culture moves. Why does this matter? Because the WNBA is living inside a pressure cooker. You've got star rookies pulling TV numbers we haven't seen before. You've got rivals with real edge. You've got officiating shouted about every other night. And you've got arenas dealing with fan behavior that crossed from rude to reckless. We're talking objects thrown on the floor, ejections, and security escorts. This is not normal Tuesday night basketball. And when it looks chaotic, people look up the chain and ask, who's in charge? That's where Adam Silver enters the frame, even though the WNBA has its own commissioner. Silver's past comments still echo. He framed a lot of this as basketball culture doing what it always does, testing the new star, pushing, bumping, chirping, seeing what she's made of. He said the attention is healthy. He said, let her evolve. In other words, don't panic, don't overcorrect, manage the moment. That's a reasonable stance when the story is hard fouls and trash talk. It's a tougher sell when the conversation turns to safety, harassment, and objects flying from the stands. So, you get a split screen. On the left, Shaq saying, protect the players, full stop. On the right, a commissioner's message about perspective and patience. The internet did the rest, splicing clips, circling quotes, and turning it into one big question. Is the league underreacting, or are we overreacting to normal competitive fire? Let's walk through the stakes, because they're not abstract. The WNBA is spending serious money to professionalize travel and protect player health. That charter flight commitment alone costs real dollars every year. The salary cap moved, but not enough to quiet the pay gap debate. At the same time, betting interest spiked this summer. That brings more eyeballs and also more bad actors. When a star misses a prop, somebody angry slides into her DMs. When a result flips late, somebody blames refs and floods timelines. So when you see players and coaches snapping harder than usual, it's not just about one whistle in the second quarter. It's the constant hum around the game right now. Now rewind to what lit the fuse. It wasn't a single play. It was a drumbeat. Clips of hard contact piled up. Technicals, ejections, a coach boiling over on the sideline, crowd shots of security moving toward a section. One night, it's a dust-up in the lane. Another night, it's a projectile bouncing on the hardwood. That last part triggered so much anger you could feel it through a phone screen. Players said it was dangerous, coaches said this crosses every line, and fans split into two groups. One saying throw the book at offenders, the other saying the media is amplifying the worst 1% and smearing everyone else. So when Shaq said he was drawing a line, it landed. Because underneath the headlines, this is a safety story before it's a rivalry story. It's a workplace. If you've ever sat courtside, you know how close the action is. There's no moat. A bad decision in row 3 can turn into a problem in 2 seconds. That's why teams upgraded bag checks, added cameras, and tightened the rules. It's also why players want the loudest people in power to say, no more, out loud, on camera, but then you put Adam Silver's past words next to that energy, and you get friction. He wasn't talking about flying objects, he was talking about the usual rookie star gauntlet. He said highly touted players get tested. He said she's tough enough to handle it. Those comments weren't wrong. They were just built for a different debate. And when the ground moved from is the contact too rough to is the environment safe, the message felt behind the moment. Here's the twist you didn't see coming. The real pivot point this summer might not be officiating or social media beef, or even a single star's magnetism. It might be money mechanics. When the league committed big to charters, it did the right thing, but it also increased the stakes on everything else. Gate, TV, sponsors, and yes, betting partnerships and integrity costs. Security is not a line item you can ignore when attention spikes. Threat monitoring isn't optional when bad faith actors chase clout. If you treat the chaos as just welcome to the league, you'll miss the structural part. This isn't only a culture war, it's an operations challenge. At the team level, coaches are juggling vibes with rotations. If your rookie is a ratings magnet, your road gyms feel different. If your vet is getting booed on the intro because of a viral clip from last week, timeouts feel different. The human side matters. Tension in the building changes how players drive into contact, how refs manage advantage, and how benches react to borderline calls. That's why you saw a few ejections this month that felt like pressure valves popping. It wasn't one shove. It was 10 days of everything. Counter case time. There are fans saying we're being dramatic. Basketball has always had villains and heroes. Great players survive it, rivalries sell, and the league's growth proves the product is working. True on all counts. But look at the delta between tough, physical welcome and unsafe, distracting circus. The line isn't fuzzy when objects hit the floor. The line isn't fuzzy when gambling rage spills into threats. The line isn't fuzzy when coaches need players to hold them back. The minute the environment slides from competitive to compromised, someone upstairs has to slam the brakes. So, what would a united message look like from the top? It would borrow Shaq's clarity and Silver's context. It would say, "We love tough basketball, but this is a hard red line. Touch the floor as a fan, you're gone for a year minimum. Throw objects, you're trespassed and prosecuted, harass players, expect law enforcement at your door." Then it would say, "Rivalry is the engine, but respect is the guardrail." That's not killing the storylines. It's preserving them for the right reasons. Zoom out to the careers at the center. Caitlin Clark is absorbing historic attention for a first-year pro. Angel Reese is putting up numbers and leaning into the villain narrative because she knows how the internet works. Both are drawing crowds. Both are learning every camera is live. And both will keep taking contact because that's basketball. The league's job is not to wrap them in bubble wrap, it's to enforce the basics so that the story stays about basketball, not about whatever someone threw from the second row. There's another quiet variable this season: schedule density and travel rhythm. Charters help recovery, but back-to-backs with national TV hits keep adrenaline high. Add social media cycles that never sleep, and players need buffers. Team PR and league offices can build them. Clearer post-game protocols, quicker statements on incidents, faster discipline when lines are crossed. The team that gets to the fourth quarter with cool heads usually wins these nights. And the league that gets to September with fewer viral security clips usually keeps sponsors happier. Back to the two voices that framed tonight. Shaq spoke like a proud uncle who refuses to watch his niece get dragged another minute. That landed emotionally because sports are personal. Silver spoke like a steward of a broader system, trying not to let 1 week define the league. That landed logically because overreactions create bad rules. The right answer is between them. Emotion without a plan burns out. A plan without emotion gets ignored. Marry the two and you get policy that keeps the game spicy and safe. What's next? Short term, watch for tighter arena checks and faster ejections for any nonsense near the floor. Watch for refs to communicate earlier when games get chippy, and watch for players to self-police the theatrics that distract from winning. Midterm, look for the league office to issue a clean, top-down memo that says exactly what the penalties are for fan misconduct, gambling harassment, and repeat in-arena offenders. Long-term, watch the money levers. Charter costs, salary cap growth, and betting oversight all live on the same spreadsheet. If the math holds, the product soars and the noise fades. The verdict tonight is simple. Shaq brought the heat because someone had to. Adam Silver's earlier words remind us not to turn toughness into scandal every time someone takes a hard foul. But the summer crossed into a different zone. This is about safety, trust, and the business of basketball. Draw the lines, enforce them, and let the rivalries breathe inside them. Do that, and the WNBA will turn this wild season into a launchpad instead of a landmine. In the next 2 weeks, keep an eye on buildings that saw the worst behavior. If they tighten fast, the tone across the league will shift. Keep an eye on how national broadcasts handle replays of hard contact, what gets glorified, what gets contextualized, and keep an eye on star health windows. Nothing cools a rivalry like day-to-day injury lists. If the league sticks the landing on security and messaging, the story resets to what it should be. Elite athletes, big moments, real stakes. So yes, the reactions were heated, and yes, the internet made it louder. But underneath the volume, there's a fixable problem and a massive opportunity. Protect the floor, clarify the rules, let the stars cook, If those three things happen, the next time we talk about Shaq and Silver, it won't be about chaos. It'll be about how a messy August became the month the WNBA finally put steel in the rails and let the train fly.